Coming up on Cronkite Sports Report,
an Angel's heavy heart drives home on the field.
we explore the fast-paced world of Rez Ball.
A high school move helped pave the way for Devin Booker's road to the pros.
And Phoenix is home to a national champion in an arena you wouldn't expect.
And the love of roller derby finds a home right here in the Valley. All this coming up on Cronkite Sports Report. Welcome into Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Chaz Frazier.
And I'm Tyler Paley. As student journalists at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, we look to bring you unique sports stories with an Arizona connection.
With Cactus League play drawing to a close, we start tonight on the diamond. The Angels' Eric Young Jr. is a second-generation major leaguer. His father, Eric Young Sr., played 15 years in the big leagues.
Last January, a third Eric Young entered the world. But as Troy Lynch explains, Eric Young Jr. suffered a devastating loss just days later, a loss that he carries with him every day that he steps onto the baseball field.
January 24th, 2017. The Los Angeles Angels signed 31-year-old outfielder Eric Young Jr. Life was good for Young and his wife Victoria. EY signed with his 7th team, and their first child was on the way. But before the Youngs knew it, their lives would change forever. On January 26, just 2 days after Young signed with the Angels, Victoria gave birth to their first son. Their child was born 11 weeks premature. Eric and Victoria were only able to spend a night with their baby before he passed away the next morning.
Sadness, just heartbroken, not sure what the next step was.
It took EY about a month before he decided to share the news. That's when he built up the courage to stand up in the center of the Angels spring training clubhouse and tell his new teammates that they shouldn't be afraid to talk with him about the situation or anything that they're struggling with.
It really was just me kind of letting them know what happened, just so if I did have a down day, they wasn't alarmed. Then I just started talking from the heart, and ended up being, I guess, more of a motivational speech, and definitely wasn't planned. And I know a lot of the guys were appreciative. A lot of guys came and shared some of their stories with me that they've been going through.
You don't want to feel sad for people, but you feel sad for them. It was their first son. Like I said, having kids myself, you can only imagine what they're going through. Just a terrible, terrible thing.
No, EY was always a very mature kid, even when he was a youngster. And when you have a tragedy like that, you have to pick up the pieces. He'll continue to have the burden, but I think he's focused on being the best baseball player he can be, and we're happy to have him.
During those 4 weeks, Young and his wife mourned, but he said it was important to keep strong in his faith.
You want to hold on to something, and my faith was what I held on to and what I continually hold on to.
Fast forward to May 28th, still early in the regular season. Mike Trout tears a ligament in his left thumb and is out for 6 to 8 weeks. Young was called up to take his place, and 3 days later, something special happened.
That's hit out toward right. That's hit well. Marquez is back. That is gone. EY Jr. Big fly.
At the services, when we laid our son to rest, the pastor reached out and told us in the service that one of the moments you hit a big home run this season, you're gonna look up to the sky, and that's your son looking down on you. And that was the moment right there. It just hit me. I just had that moment with my wife and was like, that's what our pastor was telling us that day, and it's pretty powerful for me, and just got overwhelmed with emotion.
Young was playing some of the best baseball of his career. In a span of 15 games, he hit 3 home runs, had 6 multi-hit performances, and had a batting average of .314.
Hits off the corner. This is going to do it. Drive home safely. Eric Young Jr. with a walk-off.
Kept things in perspective, and I was just having a great time out there, having the ball. Wasn't really trying to replace Mike Trout. That wasn't even my thought process. I just wanted to take the opportunity and try to run with it.
Every time Young steps onto the field, he says he's playing for his son. And whenever he gets a hit, home run, or just makes a good play, he holds up 3 fingers, representing the name of his son, Eric Young III.
I'm gonna call him Trey and hold it up every game, say a prayer in center field before every game, and hold it up to him.
And even through that tragedy, I think it just maybe made him and his wife stronger.
Young thinks so too. EY Jr. continues to tell his story and inspire people wherever he goes. And even with all the hurt, EY and Victoria still plan on having more kids.
Wanted to make sure we was in a good place to continue, but definitely was talks of expanding the family again, and so one of these days, you know, the Lord bless us with that.
In Tempe, Troy Lynch, Cronkite Sports Report.
Young added that after the passing of his son, he put everything into perspective. He said that there are people going through situations that are bigger than baseball. He said that he is blessed to have a kids game as a career, and he hopes that the fun he has on the field is contagious.
Still to come on Cronkite Sports Report, how reservation basketball transcends the court. Also, this 16-year-old is twirling his way to Norway.
And we lace up the skates and prepare for a battle.
It's every college basketball fan's favorite time of the year, March Madness. The best teams in college basketball compete for the national championship. But right here in Arizona and on Native American reservations across the country, a similar basketball fever permeates the high school level.
That's right, Tyler. Sold-out arenas, rowdy fans, and a pedal-to-the-metal pace on the court have become a big part of the Native American culture. Delilah Cassidy explores the unique brand of basketball known simply as Rez Ball.
The first Native American Basketball Classic in Arizona showcased the Native American high school athletic talent to colleges and celebrated the rich history of Native American basketball.
Basketball is always like a gorgeous ballet when you play it right. When you play it wrong, it's horrible. But when you play it right, it is a beautiful ballet.
It's about technique, and not only that, when you're good at it, it becomes like to a point where you just want to get better and better and better. You could make the right play, dribble the ball right, play the right offense, defense. It's beautiful.
Basketball in some Native American communities has earned the name Rez Ball to describe the particularly up-tempo style of play.
If you never experienced reservation basketball, you've never experienced March Madness in person. I mean, every game is the most passionate. Basketball is in the blood of everybody there. To me, Rez Ball is just the passion, the difference in passion.
If you think you're in shape, I dare you to try a game of Rez Ball. These guys out here, they'll literally give you a run for your money. And the Native Americans I talked to have said that people that have never played Rez Ball are worn out by halftime.
Up tempo, all right? We don't play a lot of half court. All right, so press, throw the ball long, and shoot a lot of threes. The stress is defense leading to offense, making the other team, who might not condition as hard as we do, play at our pace.
Although there were quite a few fans that made the multiple-hour drive to Tempe for the Classic, for games on the reservation, they usually come out by the thousands. Some arenas on the Navajo Reservation in Arizona seat nearly 8,000 fans. And those venues sell out on a regular basis.
Rez Ball, I think, is a whole different category itself. There's a lot more hype to it. It's kind of like March Madness. There's so much attention for Rez Ball. People just love to watch it. Man, it's like in our DNA.
Monument Valley's Jasmine Lane says running is a spiritual component of Native American culture. For Navajos, it is important to run every morning to greet the sun, the day, and the holy people. It's spiritual and builds a skill that translates onto the court. Beyond the hustle, Rez Ball has a profound impact on the kids that play the game.
It's the reason why I go to school every day. I don't want to miss practice. I don't want to miss a game. I want to be at school, and it's just fun. It's like the reason why I'm in class every day.
We have a saying on our team that basketball is our medicine. It's something we can turn to, something we can always rely on. It's something that cures us of any personal problems, outside problems. Basketball has taught me a lot of life lessons as well.
This was a great opportunity for us to showcase our program in a place where there are a lot of community colleges looking to bring girls off the reservation to play, and a big point of pride for the members of our community.
12 Native American players have played in the men's and women's NCAA tournaments over the past 3 years. And these players and coaches hope to see that number grow as more people learn about the talented players on the reservations. In Tempe, Delilah Cassidy, Cronkite Sports Report.
One example of how big Rez Ball is on the Navajo Reservation in northern Arizona, Window Rock High School plays in a 6,500-seat arena with cherry wood lockers for the players, a 4-sided electronic scoreboard, and a VIP area. That's all for a school that U.S. News and World Report said had just 556 students as of 2015. Now we move from the excitement of Rez Ball to the most exciting NBA player in Arizona, Devin Booker. His scoring average is well above his age. Entering Friday's game against the Cavaliers, the Suns' third-year guard had put up 24.9 points per game, and he's just 21.
That's right, and his rise to an NBA marquee was actually fueled by a move in high school, a move from Michigan to Mississippi that, as Drew Andre explained, set him on a path to being one of the NBA's brightest young stars.
A connection of son and father through a game that links them to their core. Devin Booker, the leading scorer on the Phoenix Suns, and Melvin Booker, a retired professional basketball player who spent the last 10 years of his career in Europe.
He understood while I was away a lot because I was in Europe playing ball, but he loved to tell his friends, my dad is overseas playing ball, so it was a nice thing. I missed out on a lot in his life, but, it was sacrifices that I made to, be able to take care of him and give him the life that he needed.
Devin grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and lived with his mother, Veronica Gutierrez. His parents were separated, but he would still spend summers with Melvin in Mississippi. Then, his freshman year of high school, he made the tough decision to move from Michigan to Mississippi to live with his father and pursue his future in basketball.
Actually, I felt like a college coach because I had to recruit him and his mom to make the decision because at first they was against it, and I understand, mom didn't want to send her son away from her for the next 3 years, but once I convinced him that's what the step that he needed to do to fulfill his dream, he was all for it.
The transition was seamless on the court. Devin joined the varsity team at Moss Point High School and thrived, becoming the state player of the year his junior season, and followed that up as a McDonald's All-American his senior year. The move Booker made to live and train with his father was life-changing. For Devin, the necessary change.
Just putting that extra time in. I learned when I moved with my dad, spending extra time in the gym, hour before practice, hour after practice, that I really didn't understand. I was just a really talented kid, so, putting in that extra work and that grind, I feel like got me to the situation I am today.
Up ahead to Booker. Booker turns,
The 21-year-old has put himself in elite company in his first 3 years in the NBA. In early March, he became the third quickest player to reach 4,000 points in NBA history, a mark that puts him in a special category, only behind LeBron James and Kevin Durant.
I think he's proven people wrong in a lot of cases already, and I don't think it's fair to put a restriction on him as to what his ceiling might be. I think he's got a chance to be a very special player in this league.
But Melvin says Devin imagined being in this position years ago. He was just a young child doing anything he could to get his hands on a basketball.
Like, when I see him on the court, I see the little kid that used to dribble the ball around the house and say, Dad, I'm going to play in the NBA and I want to be in the NBA.
I just, taking my craft seriously, spending that time in the summertime, working on my game, studying my game, and yeah, just eat, like I said, eat, sleep, breathe basketball. That's all I do.
Dedication and work ethic, all stemming from his long days training with his dad in Mississippi. The two have remained close, and when Devin was drafted in 2015, after his freshman year at Kentucky, Melvin moved with his son to Phoenix to help with the transition to the next phase of Devin's life.
Kid believes it, he's confident, he works hard, and you can do whatever you want if you believe in it, and I think Devin has the confidence to be one of the best players to ever play this game.
In Phoenix, Drew Andre, Cronkite Sports Report.
Booker will be eligible for a contract extension with the Suns at the end of the season. He said in February, right now, he's focused on the task at hand, finishing out the rest of the 2017-2018 campaign.
Coming up on Cronkite Sports Report, how playing with a golf club landed one teenager on America's Got Talent. Welcome back to Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Tyler Paley.
And I'm Chaz Frazier. Tyler, I think this next story is going to blow you away. There's a 16-year-old in the Valley that's a baton world championship that's making some national noise. I got a chance to interview him, and you're going to want to check this story out right here.
But once I get out there and hear everyone, they start chanting my name and stuff, it all goes away once that first beat of the music starts.
This is Cody Carter, or better known as Cody the Twirler.
What I love so much about twirling is I feel like it's kind of like an escape from everything else. Like when I'm twirling, it feels like the whole world around me just stops and it's just me and the baton.
At just 16 years old, Carter has accomplished what some spend a lifetime chasing. His unique talents have taken him to Switzerland and Italy to compete for baton world championships. However, with one quick YouTube search, you can easily find his favorite accomplishment,
so far.
I think my proudest moment was being on America's Got Talent, actually, because I feel like that was the opportunity to share my talent on the biggest stage in America with everyone.
Once he knew he was on the show, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so unbelievable. It was the most incredible experience we've ever been through.
A lot of people ask me, like, how do you know when to catch it? But it's kind of engraved in my brain where I don't even need to think about. I just catch it at the right time.
But while it's easy to be mesmerized by Carter's baton hand tricks, it's actually his incorporation of hip-hop.
Here's one of them. I do this.
That will really catch your eye.
I do a thing called a coin drop, so I bounce it off the ground and then catch it, go down and come back up. It's called the SpongeBob, so I go.
After watching Cody dance and twirl at the same time, I had to see if twirling was actually as hard as it looks.
So you can, yeah, so close. One, and then two.
So.
Two.
Look, see that I quit.
There you go. There's one trick. You're a natural.
Now, don't let the tape fool you. Unlike me, Carter is the epitome of a natural. But it's the way that he started twirling that may leave you scratching your head.
We used to take actually Cody to golf class starting at the age of 7. So we'd bring him to golf class. He had his golf clubs ready to go. And actually, I was teaching chipping, and he stood there and he was twirling his 7-iron as opposed to actually hitting the chip shots.
Thought I was just gonna play golf and then to do this thing that I didn't even know what it was at the time, and then to go so far with it was just crazy.
And the twirling on the fairway was just the beginning. After Carter's parents discovered his gift, it wasn't long after until they took some action.
One of the students in the golf class said, we got this baton coach at our school. They gave us, we call her up and arranged a lesson, thinking, okay, this is a one-time thing. And we go to the lesson, and he was doing like 2-year tricks right off the bat.
And now the medalist has his eyes set on one thing, and that's leaving a mark in Norway at his upcoming competition with the USA World Team.
The ultimate goal is to bring back 3 gold medals.
Young and on a mission, Cody the Twirler is going after it all.
At the end of this month, he'll be on his way to Norway trying to bring the gold right back here to Arizona. Good luck to Cody and the rest of the 2018 USA World Team.
Next on Cronkite Sports Report, a loss in the playoffs last September isn't slowing these skaters down.
Tyler, for many, a pair of roller skates evokes images of the 70s. When roller disco was all the rage and the Bee Gees' Staying Alive was blaring through the speakers at the local rink.
I can hear it right now. But there are no disco balls spinning in a warehouse filled with skaters that our Sam Hoyle visited. The Arizona Roller Derby's brand of roller skating is a bit more rough and tumble.
Women from all walks of life flock from across the valley to meet here, in a warehouse just off South 32nd Street in Phoenix to strap on the skates and duke it out in roller derby.
I mean, my whole life is based around it. I am so passionate about it that I just train for it. I have an easy job so that I can skate. I mean, if skating would pay me, I'd probably do that.
The sport is played by 2 teams of 5 on roller skates, decked out in protective gear. Each team has a jammer denoted with a star on the side of their helmet that battles through both teams' skaters to score points for their team. There's really not any money to be made here. Skaters for the team known as Arizona Roller Derby sacrifice both their time and their energy in pursuit of the sport they love.
I love being on a team. I love being a part of like a bigger thing, especially female empowered team. I think I'm just always really happy and thankful that I get to go travel and see fun places and like work really hard for this one thing, a collective thing, you know, ideally to win, but just to be a good roller derby team. And then you get the fun parts too, where it's just like it's camaraderie, it's friendship, it's family.
Many skaters have a day job outside of the track. For Chelsea Winkle, better known as Goldie Loke, who spends her time as a software designer, she says that even on a normal day while she's at work, roller derby never really leaves her mind.
For me, it's pretty fluid, and they actually like make really ridiculous derby shirts that say things like, I'm only thinking about roller derby, or I basically like roller derby my dog and like one other person. So you're definitely kind of always sort of thinking about that, especially at this level. We have to be watching footage of our competitors, watching our own footage to see where we can improve, and kind of just always staying up on top of that because it's just so competitive.
While roller derby runs through the heads of skaters on a daily basis, it also takes a regular toll on their bodies. With physical contact being so prevalent in roller derby, injuries are a common occurrence. For Rachel Sherman, who skates under the derby name of Westward Ho, a concussion kept her out of the oval for over a month.
We get a lot of serious big hits, and so sometimes it's hard to tell in the heat of the moment what's up, especially during summertime. We don't have air conditioning here, so just heat exhaustion can look similar to what happens when you're feeling concussed. What I could have done in that moment was just taken my time, checked in with myself, and stayed off skates probably for a week or two. Unfortunately, I didn't do that, and that moved a concussion from a minor concussion to a major concussion.
Arizona Roller Derby competed in the 2017 divisional playoffs in September, but couldn't escape the first round after a loss to Philly Roller Derby. The team already has its eye on an opportunity to improve its ranking, get back to the playoffs, and establish its dominance in the association. In Phoenix, Samuel Hoyle, Cronkite Sports Report.
Now, if the Arizona Roller Derby does make the playoffs, the team will be headed to Atlanta in September to take on the nation's best.
That'll do it for this episode of Cronkite Sports Report. As always, thanks for tuning in.
For even more local stories and Arizona sports reporting, be sure to check out our daily Facebook Live show, Cronkite Sports Now, on the Facebook page of the Phoenix Sports Bureau of Cronkite News.
For any of all your digital needs, be sure to check out arizonasports.com under the Cronkite Sports tab. And for news from across Arizona, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
From all of us here at our downtown studio, thanks so much for tuning in, and be sure to catch our next episode.